Yo, what's a good job? My name is Ruben Steven. I'm a current junior at MIT studying mechanical engineering and computer science. But when I'm not doing that, I also create content and do admission consulting. And I'm answering a question from my DMs from somebody named Liam. They ask, hi, I have a question about college apps and having core takeaways. So I understand the idea of having 2 to 3 takeaways to stand out and make yourself memorable. I also understand show, don't tell. My question is, should each essay focus on a specific story that exemplifies one of the core messages I choose? I've heard that cohesion and a clear narrative is really important, but I don't want my application to seem gimmicky, so I wasn't sure. Also, do you think the values of being reflective, being resourceful / creating my own learning opportunities, in parentheses, tied into first gen, and concern for others, and then leading, being vulnerable, and seeking true connection are effective for the process? So, first question being, should each essay focus on a specific story that exemplifies one of the core messages I choose? Generally, yeah, but it's not like, oh, essay 1 is only this trait, essay 2 is only trait 2, and then essay 3 is only trait 3. Ideally, if these are traits that actually characterize who you are, they should show up like in some degree in all of the stories that you put forth. Like obviously one's going to like lean more into a given trait than others, but I don't think you should go about thinking like, oh, this one only should say this one should only say this, but you should have it more so of like, okay, what is the core message I want this essay to, I guess, say about me? And a lot of that I think is like, it's okay done for you in like the prompts that they give. And so for example, I'm thinking like the 2 prompts that I got for like my QuestBridge application to MIT were, what is like an unexpected challenge you had to overcome? And so I'm like, all right, cool. The traits I'm going to get to show here are resilience, determination, and problem solving abilities. And then the other one was like, okay, what are the factors and circumstances that have contributed to your successes and aspirations and whatnot? When I'm helping people with their essay strategy, I literally go through like prompt by prompt, and I'm like, hey, yo, so like conversationally, right? Like this question is asking you about what are the circumstances in which you have formed your successes? Just tell me what that is. Like, and the idea there is to get a core thesis. Like, what is your overall like 30-second answer to that question? And then the stories should therefore serve as like pieces of evidence that support said thesis, right? Like another common app prompt they might have is like, oh, some people have like aspects of their identity or background that are so important to them that their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, tell us about it, right? And so there, it might be one central story that like, oh, when I played the oboe in the 8th grade or whatever, that was exemplary of everything in one, or whatever it might be. Or you could do it as like, okay, when I started the oboe in 5th grade and then had this other experience in the 8th grade and then another one in like 10th grade, they all like come together and collectively show this one thing. Or could also use that same sort of like staggered or like multi-story approach to answer a different question that might be something along the lines of like, pretty much I went and like pulled up the admissions guide. So pretty much you go to the homepage, you scroll down to the essay guide because this is what this person is asking about. You scroll down a bit more to brother in Christ to 3.3 show don't tell, because that's what they're asking me about. And then within 3.3 show don't tell, there's like why storytelling wins, what makes a good story, and then how do I build impactful stories efficiently, so execution tools. And then within there is common personal statement prompts, right? So there's some that like some students have a background identity or interest that I was talking about earlier. There's also like facing obstacles or challenges, where it's like the lessons we take from an obstacle we encounter can be a fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you face a challenge. Like for this prompt in particular, you'd want to do like one story because they say recount a time, and then you want to talk about the different factors and or like the takeaway that you got from that one encounter or event. Another one is like reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome, right? Like, and for this prompt, for example, you want to show like an evolution of thought, right? And then you could do that multiple ways. Like you could do it as one big story. Like for example, I found out that my mom had cancer or something like that, and that fundamentally changed like the level of urgency that I took towards like my education and whatnot. And that could be one specific event. Or you could talk about like, oh, how I learned to become more of a leader through my experience with like the high school band or like on my basketball team. And that might be like, oh, when I first started, like say that's like January of a given year, and then you could like skip forward to like March and then like September of that same year, and you can show that growth over time. And all of that is to say that it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, one story per one prompt. You can like mix and match as long as you have a central, clear, concise thesis, and then the different stories or anecdotes you choose are in support of that. But yeah, hope that helps. Oh, they had one more piece of their question. Also, do you think the values of being reflective, being resourceful / creating my own learning opportunities tied into first gen, and concern for others, leading, being vulnerable, and seeking true connection are effective for the process? I'm not sure what you mean exactly by for the process, but in terms of are they effective for the objective of getting you into a given college, I would say yeah. And not even because of the specific aspects that you named, but just as long as they are true to you, then yes. The question really just becomes like, okay, you've told me these things, and it's just about like, how do you go about actually showing them, you know? But do I think that the traits of resourcefulness, being a self-starter, and a concern for others are like traits that would be useful or helpful on a college application? Absolutely, definitely. And real quick, if you found this helpful and would like more one-on-one help or advice, I have free resources on rsteven.com/admissions. But if you'd like more, I guess, like one-on-one direct coaching, I also offer paid services. Again, through that same link, you can book a free consultation, and then in that consultation, if you decide that I'm like useful and you would like to continue working together, we can go into that. Or if you're like, hey bro, I just want an hour off rip, I also have it available. But yeah, that being said, for more content, love you, bye.